guys, it's Jordan. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are already a subscriber and watch my videos, welcome back. Let me get this situated. Monday evening, and I'm super excited about the dinners that I planned this week. They're all super high in protein, they're grain-free, they digest well, they're vegan, they're healthy, they're just, gonna be so good. For tonight, we are making a lentil dal. I've never made this before, but I was inspired because I had half a bag of red lentils left over, and lentils are super high in protein. So far, we've just got 1 cup of regular chopped white onion and about 2 small garlic cloves. Adding that to a pot. I've just got a big kind of like soup pot here, and I've just got some water getting hot at the bottom because I always water saute. Now that the onion and garlic are in there, I'm just gonna add a little bit of this veggie bouillon. Please keep a jar of this in the fridge instead of veggie broth because it lasts a lot longer. So I'm just gonna add like half a teaspoon in there, and it's just gonna give the vegetables a lot more flavor. This is great to do if you aren't sauteing in oil. You can saute in some veggie broth and you'll have a ton of flavor. Now we're gonna add the spices. I'm going to add 1.5 tablespoons of curry powder. And I just eyeball it. I'm never exact. 1 decent sized teaspoon of cumin. Just gonna add a bit more water just as it evaporates. Also just gonna at this time add a pinch of salt. You don't need a lot because usually veggie broth is pretty salty and flavorful. And some black pepper, which is surprisingly really hard to grind when you're trying to do it with one hand. Smell of curry powder and cumin when it hits the heat with garlic and onion. Oh my gosh, it's just so good. It's actually the middle of summer here and it's been super duper hot, so I was kind of worried about making like a dal, which is kind of like a warm chunky soup. I think it's gonna be okay. It actually cooled off and it's rained. It like rained really, really hard today. I'm in Ohio for the first time in like 2 weeks. Unusual, like we had no thunderstorms, nothing in the month of July, and finally we had some rain today. So it's kind of like cloudy and rainy today, so it's kind of nice to have like a comforting, warming bowl of something that's really light still, so it's not like, yeah. I try to always eat like seasonally and be in touch with nature when I eat, so I'm always thinking about those things. I also want a bit of heat, but not a ton of spice, so I'm just gonna add a pinch of red pepper flakes. Next, we're gonna add just less than a pint of grape tomatoes, and I've already like chopped them up a bit. And we're just gonna add those in. If you don't have these, you can use just a can of diced tomatoes with their juice. What I want is for the juices in the tomatoes to come out so that I can smush them. I've got 1 cup of red lentils, and they were dried before and I let them soak during the day today. You don't have to do this. I just remembered to do it, so I did soak them probably for like 5 or 6 hours, and then they kind of like split open and it helps them digest a bit better. Just rinse them and then they're just drained in this colander. 1.5 cups of chopped cauliflower and a handful of red potatoes. I think there were like 6 small potatoes, and I just cut them into these little pieces. I'm gonna add those in along with the lentils. I'm gonna add 2 cups of water.
I have to get my 2 seconds of fame.
You're creepy. 1 cup of light coconut milk. I'm just gonna stir this up, make sure all the lentils are covered. This is such a great 1-pot meal too. I'm gonna turn the heat up a bit so that it's simmering, and then once it's simmering, I'll cover it. It's what it's looking like after 20 minutes. Gotta add some green in there, so I'm gonna add some frozen kale, probably just about a cup or so. It smells incredible. I'm gonna add a squeeze of lemon. I did a little Amazon shopping. My hat, my sunscreen. I've been feeling lately like I've been getting way too much sun. So I got some of this sunscreen by Alba Botanics and it's SPF 50 and I like it because it's a spray. And I got a hat. Let's try it on. It is. I'll link it down below in the description. Hey! Do I look like a scarecrow? It's kind of big. Not used to wearing hats though. Some people wear them like back like this, but I feel like it'll fall off. Oh, I can tighten it, I think. It has strings inside, like drawstrings, so I can tighten it. I feel like a detective. All to protect my face. Now this one is healthy dinner related, which is why I wanted to show you. Oh, so much packaging. I got a new pan. This is by the brand Tefal. This is a non-stick skillet. I believe it's a 10-inch. We are going to test it tonight. I'm making zucchini noodles with pesto. It's also a super quick dinner. And again, like last night's, it's all made in one pan. So it's perfect for a weeknight. I've just chopped up about 1/4 of a white onion and about 4 ounces of brown mushrooms. You're making a squash style pasta, whether it be like with zucchini or sweet potato noodles or butternut squash noodles. I think it's super important because they have a very unique texture that's very different than regular pasta. I think it's important to add lots of different textures to make it like a really satisfying dish, which is why I'm doing the onion and the mushrooms. Mushrooms are really earthy and pesto is a really earthy sauce, so that goes really well together. I'm also going to add on some toasted pine nuts. Pine nuts are typically in pesto, but you could also use anything else. I love toasting sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds just so you get that crunch. You could also roast some chickpeas and they get like really nice and crunchy. You could put that on top for a little extra protein. Jack doesn't like chickpeas, so we won't be doing that. Pro tip for zucchini noodles, if you're doing zucchini noodles or zoodles, you want these big zucchinis. So the biggest ones you can find, I got these at the farmer's market. They had ones even bigger than these, but these will do really, really well. If you're using zucchini for anything else, like you're sauteing it or grilling it, skewering it, roasting it, you want the smaller ones because they actually have better flavor. These are better for zoodles. Veggies are coming along nicely. They're not sticking. Yay, I haven't even had to add any water. This is perfect. Put the mushrooms on a separate plate, but they got nice and browned with no oil. It's amazing. I'm loving this pan so far. Now I've just still got the heat on and I'm gonna put in zucchini noodles. Look at all these zoodles. I love these curly Q ones. The pesto we're using, it's a vegan kale, cashew, and basil pesto from Trader Joe's. You can also get a vegan pesto from Whole Foods, or you could order one online, and I'm sure they've got nut-free pestos as well. Welcome to meal 3. Tonight we are making a barbecue tempeh, potato, and broccoli sheet pan meal. I honestly swear to you guys, I did not plan this. I was not planning for all of these meals to be like one pan or one pot, but they are, and I think that's just a testament to like how I end up cooking because it's gotta be simple, it's gotta be easy, and Jack does the dishes and he's so sweet, so I always try to decrease the number of dishes that he has to clean. Let me show you what we've got going on. I've got my sheet pan lined with a Silpat mat. That's a Silpat, and I got this from, I think I got this from Macy's, but I know you can order it online. I love this mat for roasting things in the oven and not having to use oil. Nothing sticks to it, and it crisps things up so much better than parchment paper and tinfoil. But if you have parchment paper or tinfoil, definitely use those if you don't have a Silpat mat. I'm just going for some regular new potatoes. These are red, some are gold, and I've got them seasoned with some of, you guys know I love this if you watch any of my previous vlogs. This is Bragg's Organic 24 herbs and spices seasoning. So I just sprinkled some of that on the potatoes along with some sea salt, which I keep in this. So that's all that's in there. I also added a little bit of water just so things would stick. That's a trick if you're not using any oil. These are gonna go into a 375-degree oven for about 10 minutes because the potatoes cook longer. So then we're gonna add the rest of the ingredients after 10 minutes. This is tempeh. See the soybeans in the tempeh. Different than tofu in that it's a little bit less processed and it's also fermented. Many people are like, oh my gosh, how much soy do you eat? I hear soy is bad. Too much of anything, like even if it's like you're eating blueberries every day or you're eating, you know, anything in large amounts every day is not gonna be good for you. When we concentrate things and we consume lots of them, it's never good. My thing with soy is I think it's fine. Like I don't notice any adverse reaction to it. I don't get an allergic reaction to it. If you get an allergic reaction to it, don't eat it, obviously. I find that it's a fabulous source of protein for me, and it makes me feel satisfied and it makes me feel good. This whole block of tempeh, I got this tempeh from Trader Joe's. And also if you're worried about soy, get organic soy. That way you're not getting anything that has GMOs in it. This whole block is 40 grams of protein. I'm just gonna cook this one block of tempeh, so I'll have about half of it, slice it up, and then I'm gonna add some barbecue sauce to it. Barbecue sauce is my favorite with tempeh. I also love like a teriyaki sauce with tempeh. If you are grain-free, like you're trying to eat totally grain-free for dinner, a lot of times tempeh will be made with other grains like brown rice or barley or other things in addition to the soy. So just make sure you're buying a kind that's just soy. Or I've also been seeing like chickpea tempeh coming out. So if you're really not into soy, you can try to find chickpea tempeh. So many options. In addition to our tempeh, we're also gonna add some broccoli to our sheet pan. So I've got 1 packet of frozen broccoli. All I'm gonna do is add some soy sauce. This is actually coconut aminos, which is just like a different version of soy sauce. It's kind of like a substitute for soy sauce. It's soy-free, so again, if you're not crazy about soy, you can use this and it tastes just like it. I'm gonna add some nutritional yeast. And I didn't thaw the broccoli. They're literally just frozen. So they are just gonna cook right into the oven. The potatoes have been cooking for 10 minutes. I just added the broccoli and the barbecue tempeh. Put some barbecue sauce on the tempeh. That simple. I used this brand of barbecue sauce. It's a brand that I get from Kroger. It's their Simple Truth organic brand. Just make sure that the barbecue sauce doesn't have any non-vegan ingredients in it. I find that most of them don't, but this is the one that I use. We are ready to stick it back into the oven. And now everything is gonna finish cooking in 20 minutes.